And just want to kind of go through the content. If you have any questions as we go through, just unmute your phone and go ahead and ask it. So, and again, thank you also for everyone for taking some time out this evening to get this information. So we're going to cover a few things tonight. We'll go through some maps, the summer games, some updates on the summer games, upcoming webinars and meetings and question and answers. I should also point out that, many of you already received this in the email earlier today, but we will also, for anybody new who signs up that wasn't included on that email distribution, we'll also send that out to folks. We also put down, because there was some confusion about the date of summer games this year. People had gotten used to it being a particular weekend, and it was actually a little bit later. The dates for the 2017 summer games are there for you as well, and we have dates stretched out for a couple years with Towson that we will keep you updated on. So this year we have 3 different locations that we'll be utilizing. As you likely know, the pool at Burdick Hall, or actually all of Burdick Hall, is under construction, and so that's unavailable to us. So in addition to our location here at Towson, we have the push pin there for Unitas Stadium, but just to represent the overall Towson campus. We also are using Loyola Blakefield, which is a private school literally right around the corner from Towson, for their incredible aquatics facility that we reviewed with coaches in the aquatics webinar last week. And then also, again, Cockeysville Middle School, where we've had our off-site softball games. We will be utilizing the stadium, the softball stadium at Towson University, but unfortunately that only has 1 field, so we utilize Cockeysville for multiple fields. I should also point out, sorry, I should have said this at the beginning, that the purpose of the session tonight is overall summer games, aspects of summer games, not specific to any sport. While we certainly will share some pieces of information for the various sports, the real focus here is not to go to do any kind of a deep dive on a particular sport, but rather the overall games, which is the responsibility of the heads of delegations. And all this information, in addition to you getting the slide decks earlier, will be in the event guide, which will be sent out no later than Thursday. Very likely it will go out tomorrow. Pulling in a little closer to the Towson campus to give you a sense of perspective of where Loyola Blakefield is. If you're familiar with Towson campus, down here is Unitas Stadium, and the CQ Arena is just off the screen here. We have the Glen Towers here, which is where one of the locations for lodging. Towson Run Apartments in Tubman, which again we're using this year, is over here in the University Union. And this is Osler Drive coming down here. To get to Loyola Blakefield, you just go up Osler Drive, turn onto Towson Town Boulevard, and then turn right on Charles Street, and the main entrance to Loyola Blakefield is right here. We will be having shuttle buses running throughout the day to Loyola Blakefield. They will be on their own route, not part of the trip out to Cockeysville, so don't worry about hopping on the bus and being in store for an hour-long trip if you just want to go to Loyola Blakefield. It's not an hour to get up to Cockeysville, but getting up, unloading, and then coming back could add that much to it. This is the updated map for Towson, the Towson campus. Some key areas if you are staying overnight. Tubman House and Towson Run Apartments. I think this is Towson Run Apartments and this is Tubman House, but are right here. There's a large parking area right next to it, and there is a shuttle bus pickup that's here. The other lodging location is Glen Towers D, which is over here on Cross Campus Boulevard. It's an easy walk right over to the University Union, which is where, if you're staying at the Glen Towers D, that's where all the where breakfast and dinner will be served. That's also where the heads of delegations meetings will be. We note here that coaches meetings would be there on Friday, actually based on feedback during the webinars last week. We are working to relocate the coaches meetings on Friday over towards this side of campus down here by the CQ Arena. Coaches, the feedback we got from coaches is that it is a little bit more convenient rather than having to eat dinner, rush to the meeting, and then have to rush over and not miss opening ceremony. So we're working to relocate those coaches meetings here. I don't have all the rooms at this point, so that will be a change as well. Coming around here, of course, there's the United Stadium. In the complex here at United Stadium, in this building, if you can see where my cursor is here, this is a, if you want to call it the field house, you can. It's a building of, there's a couple, I think there's a couple classrooms, but it's mostly offices and some meeting rooms. On the third floor of that building is the Minigan Room, which overlooks the both the bocce area, which is over here, as well as the track and the stadium. And in the Minigan Room is the control center. The control center is, in essence, the staff and games management team office or headquarters on site at Towson. That is also a place that you should feel free to come. Heads of delegations are free to come there and get information, ask questions, whatever. It is not a place, please don't send all of your family members and such there. While we certainly do enjoy having one or two stop by, having a stream of family members come in for questions there is just really not practical. They should be going through you as their head of delegation, or they can also check in at the various family registration or family hospitality areas at each of the competition venues. But please do feel free to come up there if you have any questions or need any help with anything in the control center. Also in the event guide is the phone number for the Minigan Room where the control center is, and the hours that the control center is open, so you can feel free to contact or call there if that's more convenient. Over here in CQ Arena, actually this is CQ Arena here, that's the label there. That's where opening ceremonies will be. Also on Friday there's a champions reception, which is an invitation reception. The family reception will be there. That is open to all family members. We encourage all family members to attend. That'll be on the concourse of the CQ Arena on Saturday night. Also in a little side room on the first floor down here, if you can see where the cursor is, about where the athletes or the delegations will march in for opening ceremonies. That's the media center. And Jason and his folks, Jason Schrimmel from headquarters and his folks will be headquartered there. And that's a nice opportunity for you to stop in, or if there's any questions that you may have as well. Lot 20, which is right behind CQ Arena, is where the block party on Friday night will be taking place. As a part of the block party, there is a parade staging will be done there. We'll have, as we did last year, a sign for each area up relatively high, and you can, as we get towards the parade staging aspect or component of the evening, you can have your teams cluster or your delegations cluster there, and that's a nice way for the folks that are arranging the parade to get them lined up and ready to go in. You see the softball venue, the softball skills will be in the field here. Adjacent to the CQ Arena is the Towson Center. That's where cheerleading will be held. This says MATP demo. That was planned, but that's something we're going to postpone until next year based on the ability of athletes to get there. So we won't bother with that, talking about that tonight. But cheerleading competition is there in the Towson Center. Healthy athletes will be there on Saturday. In addition, Olympic Park and the Victory Dance will be there on Saturday night, and as part of that, merchandise will be sold during that time as well. Then down here is just the Auburn House. That's actually nothing for the delegations. That's where the law enforcement torch run will be having their reception on Friday. A couple notes here. Bus stops are all marked in yellow. This is the bus stop for off-campus buses, where the buses going to aquatics and to softball will pick up and will be returned here. It's at the end of the parking garage, which is adjacent to the University Union. The other buses that are on campus here are part of the bus loop that will be running continuously on campus. I believe it starts at 7 o'clock and will continue on until end of competition. In the evening, rather than this full loop, there will be buses that will go back and forth from the dorms to either on Friday night to the front of the CQ Arena, and on Saturday here to Lot 21, where they'll pick up from the Block Party and Victory Dance. Our two off-site venues, since we saw everything going on there at Towson, our two off-site venues, first Loyola Blakefield, which is where Aquatics is. This is Charles Street coming through here. This is the main entrance. I should point out that is not the way the buses will be coming in. The buses will be coming in another route so they can drop everybody off at the bus stop that's up here. But the public, anybody from your delegations that's driving, again, it's a very short distance, but I know some folks will drive, should come in this main entrance. You come up, this is a hill that'll come up here. There is parking in some very large lots here, and then there's a large gravel, these are all paved lots, there's a large gravel lot that's up here as well. As is noted here, please do not park on any of the roads on campus. As you can see, there's a lot of roads here. We'll be putting up no parking signs, but even that, please remind or let your folks know to please don't park there. We're a little concerned with the buses coming through. Some of the roads are relatively narrow, and with cars parked on the road on campus, there may be some problems with the buses getting through. The bus stop for Aquatics is right here. Again, the buses will pull up this way, and folks can exit. They'll come in. The main entrance to the hall is over here, but there's a side entrance that takes you right into the lobby that will have folks go in here. It'll get them in the air conditioning a little bit quicker. It's not a very long walk at all. And then the actual Aquatics competition is here in Knott Hall. Not going to go through the video and all that from Aquatics. It's a beautiful place. If you get a chance, I highly recommend finding the time to go over there and see it. And hopefully we'll be there again next year while the work on Burdick Hall continues. We'll see what happens in years to come after that. And then Cockeysville Middle School, which is...
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Hey, this is Steve. Sorry. I didn't know if you want to reiterate about the chairs at Loyola. Not to bring chairs.
Yeah, sure. We can say that. We covered that with the coaches, but sure. Loyola is, they have a very large gymnasium. Anybody here has been going with the, have attended Aquatics for the past several years know that the typical process is that the delegations bring camping chairs and other stuff and set up their own little space in the large open gymnasium or hall there. Loyola will only be tarping or covering the portion of the hall that is over by the awards area where athletes would be coming through and partners while they're wet. Excuse me. The rest of the gym, which is a rubberized floor, they will not be tarping, but they are concerned about any potential damage to the floor, and so we are requiring or prohibiting any delegations from bringing chairs or any of that type of stuff with them. We will be providing several hundred chairs for delegations to use and sit down. And again, that'll be reiterated in some additional communications, but it was covered kind of strongly, I think, with the coaches as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Then Cockeysville Middle School, again, the actual facility is here up by the push pin. And in the event guide and in the program for the games, there's directions to get up here. But this is, it's a little bit cockeyed, but that's to get all the stuff in here. But this is York Road, and north is going this way, if you see the way my cursor's going. You can get into Cockeysville Middle from York Road either by taking Cranbrook Road up and then over, or if you go by I-83, you can take the Warren Road exit and then come straight down Warren Road to the school here. Some registration process updates. Thank you to everybody for getting all your stuff in. There are a couple...
Mike,
yes.
Excuse me, Mike.
Uh-huh.
Bob Baker here.
Hey, Bob.
Back to the bus schedule. From Tubman over to the dining hall, this is our first year outside of the Glen Towers. Is there a bus in the morning for breakfast?
Yes, there is, but one of the things sorry, let me back up to that map. There is also a walkway, which it isn't drawn on this map, that goes over Osler Drive. It's probably just as quick to take that walk in nice brisk morning, but yes, the shuttle will be taking you around we'll pick you up and take you around to the University Union. It'll drop off here. It'll also drop off here up by the Glen complex, which may seem out of the way, but there's actually a nice little footpath, which if you stayed at Glen, you're familiar with, that you can take right down to the dining hall. Okay.
Okay.
Later in the slides, there's the bus schedule as well that we'll see.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And just as Bob, excuse me, and Steve did, if you do have any questions, please feel free to jump in. Just please, between your questions, mute your phone so we have minimize the background noise. It sounds pretty good right now. So again, thank you for getting all your stuff, and we do have a couple things that we're still tidying up where what was submitted there was an issue with, but we're done with any of the registration components in terms of sending stuff in. All chaperones are in, and again, we've checked their volunteer applications, and they're getting wrapped up now. The entry score deadline for updating any scores for aquatics and athletics is tonight. So if you have any additional changes that you need to make, this is only for submitting improved scores. There's no event changes or anything. Send it in to your regional sports director this evening. Part of the reason why we really need to stick with that, there's a lot that happens once we get that database nailed down, and we actually will be starting the divisioning for aquatics and athletics tomorrow afternoon so that we can get your stuff out to folks with their actual divisions and times and such earlier than the day before summer games, or in some cases I think it went out on Friday. If all holds to plan and things go well and you know, the creek don't rise, we may be able to have them out early on Monday or Tuesday of next week for you. That's not a promise, but things have to fall in place in order for us to do that. Tomorrow, you will also receive an updated roster broken out by sport, as well as one for your overall delegation that shows you everybody who's in there. One other thing I didn't put on here, but should be noted, anybody who wasn't in any athlete or unified partner who was not entered into a competition or a competitive event, if they were just left in training, they have been deleted or they've been scratched. They will be deleted tomorrow morning from the summer games. No athlete or unified partner can come without actually being entered in something. And then on-site registration is set for Thursday, June 9th, on the second level of the University Union. That's the same level that the dining hall is on, for those of you who are familiar with it. Same place it's been for several years. From 2 o'clock to 6, it is our hope, and it's worked the last 2 years, that the shirts for opening ceremonies will be available there for pickup. I think last year they arrived like 15 minutes after we opened registration. If you are one of the larger delegations, please be sure to bring somebody to help you carry stuff. They're some typically in relatively large boxes, but they'll be there. That's also the same level where the Lock Raven room is, which is where the head of delegation meeting will be on Thursday as well. That'll be the live one. This is just some repeat of stuff we shared before, but the standard registration for overnight delegations members is $65. That covers the lodge, roughly half the cost of the lodging and meals. Our actual cost, this is an estimate, it may actually be a little bit higher, is about $128. And then for day of, we're only looking at here at lunches, that's about $16, that's the cost. Though we put it on there, there is no charge back to the delegations for day of athletes or day of unified partners, nor for day of supervisory folks, coaches, assistant coaches, HOD, so on down the line, unless you're over the 3-to-1 ratio. I'm not going to go into that whole ratio thing here. If you have a question about that, we can talk about it offline. But it is noted here that if you are over the 3-to-1 ratio, you'll be charged the full incremental cost for either the overnight, although there really shouldn't be anybody in that category due to the housing allotment, but we kept it in there to be safe, or the day of. We're estimating that at $16. It'll be the actual incremental cost that we'll pass on there. With that in mind, when you get your rosters tomorrow, it'll also list how many people are registered. We may not have at that point the number that are housed versus not housed. Jane is working feverishly to get all that into GMS. So we have that. However, you will see that this how many coaches you have, how many of each category. If it looks like you got a bunch of people who are not supposed to be in there, it often happens that people forget to delete some assistant coaches or some volunteers who helped with training but actually were not attending summer games. You have until noon on June 6th, that's next Monday at noon, to call into your regional or email to your regional sports director to have them delete those individuals. After noon on June 6th, you're going to be charged for either if they're overnight for those folks, or if they're over the 3-to-1 ratio for the incremental costs for lunches for those folks. So look at that carefully. Use that the counts that we'll provide to you as a guide to see what you should pay attention to. But again, that's a frequent thing that happens where you forgot. Again, we'll delete the athletes and partners who aren't in events, but we have no idea which coaches or whatever that they're not supposed to be there, that they won't actually be attending. That's up to you to make sure that we know. And again, you have to send that in to your regional sports director because areas are locked out of making changes in GMS at this point. Just a quick look at the master schedule. There's some more detail that's in the event guide that, again, will go out no later than Thursday. But Thursday night of next week is, again, we have the delegation registration and the HOD meeting. One note on the HOD meeting. Please, there is limited space in that room. The sound is better than the larger room we've used before where it's hard to hear. There's such an echo in it. So we're asking, please, only HODs. Don't bring any extra people in there. Don't bring athletes. Don't bring other coaches and such, just the HODs. If you have 2 HODs for your delegation, it's fine to bring both of them in. But really, please restrict it to HODs. It's not anything super secret. It really is a space issue. Then the master schedule for Friday, again, tentative. Cheerleading competition, and actually I noted an error on there. That actually starts at 10:30, not at 3 o'clock. Sorry about that. That is corrected in the event guide. Lunch and so on, as you can see through. Note that dinner is from 4 to 6. There is no set schedule for dinner. Well, there is. We're suggesting on Saturday and Sunday for dinner and breakfast that softball and aquatics go for the early shift of breakfast and the later shift for dinner just because of their bus schedule. That is not an absolute requirement. If your schedules make it better to go at a different time, Matt Otwell, who coordinates our food and beverage and hospitality from that aspect, can accommodate some adjustments to that. Noticing the one other note here, I mentioned earlier the coaches meetings, still says University Union. We're looking at the exact locations, trying to find them over at the on the opening ceremony side of campus, for lack of a better term. There is no aquatics coaches meeting that night. But athletics, we do have a location set for athletics. For bocce and softball, we just need to get the room names and locations for them. Again, that's at the request from coaches we talked to last week who said it would be more convenient for them. Note that we have the block party going on from 5 to 7. That's open. It's sort of free form. Towards the end of the block party, be sure to be clustering around your delegation sign so that it can help with organizing the parade. The staging of the parade will start around 6:30. 6:30 is a loose start time. Basically, everybody needs to be lined up and ready to go at 7:15. But please do take and follow the direction of the folks coordinating that event. Then opening ceremony is from 7:30 to 8:30. There is an outdoor portion at the end where folks will come back outside for the ceremony, or for the torch lighting, and then go onto the bus. We will have some music playing outside as the buses are getting loaded for those folks who are going for a slightly later bus. On Saturday, it's pretty much a standard competition that we've had throughout. Again, the buses for aquatics in Cockeysville were starting 30 minutes earlier. They're going to start at 7. So we have the breakfast and such. Competition, as you can see there, that actual start and end time is going to vary slightly based on the individual competitions. Your coaches have gotten that information, and will get their more detailed schedules next week for the 5 sports. Family hospitality, we are very pleased that, I'm not sure if Candy's on the call, but it looks like we'll be having that at each of the sports venues this year, so we're thrilled to have that opportunity. But that'll be going from 9 to 3 each day. Healthy athletes, that's listed there for the Towson Center. And actually, this schedule is very tentative. We'll adjust that. The correct times are in the event guide. That's actually from 12 to 6. But we're also pleased that for the folks who are at aquatics, 2 of the healthy athletes stations, there's 6 stations or 6 exams, if you will, that they're doing. 2 of them, Fit Feet and Health Promotion, will be going on and offered as well at the aquatics venue at Knott Hall on Loyola Blakefield campus. Knott Hall is the building where the aquatics competition will be. Again, we mentioned dinner. The head of delegation meeting from 6 to 7 again will be in the University Union Lock Raven Room, same place it is on Thursday night. This one is usually a relatively quick session. It really depends upon anything that happens during the day. That's not to say skip it. It should come through. There's typically a few announcements. We also use that as an opportunity to get feedback, particularly on anything that we could possibly change for the following day. We will again have the evening softball game and home run derby that there at the stadium. Well, it was new last year, but it's still pretty new, very nice stadium there. Home run, if you didn't make it out there, both of those were really nice additions last year. The home run derby in particular was pretty exciting, and the softball coaches have more information on that. We have Olympic Park and dance in the Towson Center. The theme of the dance, actually it's on another slide a little further down, but is Law Enforcement Appreciation True Blue Pride, I think is the full name of the theme. And then again, the family reception noted before when we were looking at the map, 7:30 to 8:30. And again, all family members are welcome to attend. The one thing I would suggest, since I know that in several cases family members are also serving in a chaperoning or supervisory capacity for your delegations, and the dance is going on at the same time, just work out within your delegation of how people can come and go and still take part in the family reception and take part of that. Hopefully some of your chaperones or coaches who are not family members can handle the supervisory role that evening and let the family members who are on your delegation come to the reception. Then on Sunday, it's pretty much a repeat of those key issues or key points from Saturday. Again, the buses actually will start at 7 and we'll go through. Let's see. Opening ceremony. We touched on at various points, but just sort of as a summary. Again, the dinner is going to be in the dining hall. We point that out because there had been a hope that we could, in last year, of doing something at the block party. We, again, are not able to do that. Hopefully some point in the future, but dinner will be in the dining hall as typically has been. The block party is in lot 20 behind CQ Arena. We'll have music, dance demonstrations. The Kangaroo Kids, I believe, will be there for the block party. We have street entertainers, sports clinics with some of the Towson sports teams, some art activities, some vendors, so on down the line. Merchandise will also be available there. Again, parade staging will start around 6:30. Just going through. The main portion, is again, will be in CQ Arena, though we will come back outside, weather permitting, I should point out, weather permitting for the torch lighting. If there is inclement weather, and we will send a notice out via email, via Nixle, via any way that we can find. We'll let you know as soon as we know. The block party and the parade staging would be moved to the Towson Center on Friday night. Knock on wood, we haven't had to do that in quite a while, but that's the plan. We do need to know from each of you, and we'll put this in a reminder that'll go out following this session. The total number of delegation members at opening ceremonies, the number of wheelchair users in opening ceremony from your delegation, or anybody who has significant mobility challenges. The reason we need that is there's a limited number of seats on the floor, and there's a limited number of aisle seats, which is obviously the best location for folks who utilize a wheelchair or have mobility challenges. And Tom Humphrey and Rick Jessu and all who run opening ceremonies will balance that out and work to get that set. Again, we'll put a reminder in the email that goes out. And just send that via email directly to your regional sports director. Tom will probably also be at the head of delegation meeting on Thursday to verify or clarify any numbers. But please don't wait till Thursday night to give them. Send them in as we can. And again, these are people who are attending opening ceremony. Not all of your delegation members in many cases will be attending opening ceremony if they're day of athletes and are only coming on Saturday. They're certainly welcome to attend, but we realize that not everybody will. Some reminders, the schedule is on the next slide. Some things to remember, that there is a walking route from Tubman, Towson Run to the University Union. It's open. I think it was open last year for the first time. It's a nice little walk, and if weather is nice, it's a nice way to start the day. The Union Garage is open on all levels as it was last year. There's no construction going on there. And you can access it either from Osler Drive or Cross Campus Boulevard. The shuttle bus stop for Tubman and Towson Run, as you saw on the map previously, is west of the dorm, so it's back towards that parking garage that's there. The bus stop for off-campus buses is at the end of the University Union parking garage. Again, it's marked on that map. It's near the Osler Drive entrance, and that's again for folks going over to aquatics at Loyola Blakefield or to softball at Cockeysville Middle. And the bus is crowded. Be patient. I'm not sure. George has, I think, at various points on Saturday and Sunday, somewhere in the neighborhood of 16 buses going for both the on-campus route and the off-campus routes as well. If you are on a bus and you're staying on campus, that means the bus never leaves Towson campus. You can stand on the bus. However, if the bus is going to Loyola Blakefield or to Cockeysville, in other words, going off campus, no standing is allowed. That's a safety issue, and it doesn't matter if you don't mind standing. Bottom line is the bus driver won't let you. Here is the bus schedule. Again, it's included in the slides. So it's included in the event guide that you'll get no later than Thursday. On Friday, so there's a bus going over to cheerleading from the dorms and the locations over by the University Union side, and then over to the block party, and again, just carrying through. If you have any questions on this, George will be in the control center. George Hergenhan, many of you know, has been runs the control center, also handles the bus schedule for several years, and he or the folks that are in the control center can clarify anything for you with that. At the end of opening ceremonies, as we did last year, we will have a number of buses lined up. The MC out at by where the cauldron is for the torch lighting will announce the counties to go to the buses. That's based on how many people are staying at which location, for whether they're at Towson Run / Tubman or they're over at the Glen Towers. Basically, a bus is going to go to one or the other. They're not going to both. I think they worked out most of the issues with any kind of lift buses that they had last year, so that should all be fine. George will go through the actual process in detail with you at the head of delegation meeting on June 9th, so be sure to come there. He'll have additional handouts then. That's also an opportunity for you to ask any questions on the bus schedule. So that's there. Let's see. We touched on Olympic Park and Dance, but just a couple reminders as well about the different activities. The movie night is tentative. We have to make sure that we have a place that we can do this in. They have completely reconfigured the section of the Towson Center that had classrooms, the section that was behind the old ticket booth that was there, for those of you familiar with it. And so we're working out locations. We're hopeful that we can still have a movie night there. And then the dance demo I mentioned on the block party on Friday. We'll have more details there at the main head of delegation meeting in terms of when that's held. Again, I have the theme for the dance and mention about the softball game and home run derby. Mentioned before about when we're going through the schedule about healthy athletes. At aquatics, we'll have Fit Feet and health promotion that's going from 10 a.m. till 3 over the main event, if you will. In the Towson Center goes from on Saturday from noon until 6. And there's 6 different exams or screenings that are available. Special Smiles, Fit Feet, Fun Fitness, Opening Eyes, Health Hearing, and Health Promotion. I don't know if any of you have experience with taking any of your athletes through this. It's an exceptional opportunity. Just highly recommend it. It's a great way to find information out, particularly for any of your athletes who maybe don't get to see a doctor quite as often. It's just a wonderful opportunity, and can't say strongly enough about really push it for that. Families, I don't know if didn't see Candy on the call. Nope. So again, there is a hospitality center at each competition venue. They'll have some snacks and some information for families and such, and also serves as a sort of informal information table for the games. I believe most of them may have a small merchandise set of merchandise selection for sale, either at the family hospitality table or nearby to that. Can't promise that at every venue, but I believe that that's the plan. So if anybody's not able to come to opening ceremonies or to the dance/victory party, where it will be where merchandise will be sold, there may be a small selection available at their location. Mentioned about the family reception, again in CQ Arena Concourse, which is the second level. You can walk there right from the Towson Center where the dance is going on. And then the family fax will go out via email as well as hard copy on or about the 2nd or on Thursday. That's just a short 2 sides of 1 page that Candy puts together, Candy Holland puts together, that provides family members sort of nutshell information of things that are going on. And so they can kind of plan their time there at summer games. Anything else? Mentioned about meals. All registered delegation members will be provided lunch Saturday and Sunday. On Friday, only those who are registered as part of cheerleading will get lunch. So there are other nearby options that you can go to. York Road has a plethora of dining establishments, but lunch is for cheerleading only on Friday in terms of what we'll provide. Delegation members staying overnight on campus will be provided dinner and breakfast during the designated periods. Only those folks who are staying overnight. If you wish to, other folks can purchase meals. The breakfast figure of $8, we're going back and talking to them about that. That's currently an estimated price. It's significantly higher than it was last year. And George and Matt are dealing with them. See if that'll go down. So that may go down, but plan on that. Lunch and dinner are as noted there. Please also note that lunches for folks who aren't part of the delegation are pretty limited. There are some available, but folks are encouraged to bring their own. This is family members and such, or again, you can go off campus and there's lots of options that are nearby. Do note that at Loyola Blakefield, the school itself is planning to sell concessions on Saturday and Sunday. I know they're planning on Chick-fil-A on Saturday. I'm not sure what they're planning to do on Sunday since Chick-fil-A is not open on Sunday, or maybe they'll purchase stuff ahead of time and keep it safe and sanitary until Sunday. But that's a great service that should make things pretty convenient for folks at Loyola. Mentioned about the control center. At the University Union in the Minigan room. I'm not sure why delegation registrations, I think I've lost a heading there, but delegation registration will be held in the University Union again. As a reminder, it's on here twice for a reason. Housing keys are to be returned to the front desk of your housing building on Sunday. We will get charged, and we will pass along that charge for any key that is not turned in on Sunday. So be sure one of the roles of the head of delegation or your designee should be collecting your housing keys and making sure they're turned in. If you wish to just rely on your delegation members to turn them in at the front desk, that's at your own risk. If they forget to turn them in, I believe the key cost is $75. That's what we get charged. That's what Towson charges us. We're going to pass that on to your delegation. I'm sure there are better things that your county can do with $75 than pay for a lost key. And again, they've got to be there on Sunday. Turning them in on Monday or Tuesday will not make that fee go away. I mentioned about the event guide coming out. It'll be sent out electronically to everybody. We started doing this, I think, last year. It might have been the year before, and received mostly positive feedback. But we'll send it out electronically to every delegation member, plus the area director and area director support list. The delegation is going to go out to whatever their primary email address is in GMS. So if that email is incorrect, or if that email is not there, that delegation member may not receive it. But we'll send it out, and we say every delegation member. It'll go to the athletes, to the coaches, assistant coaches, chaperones, volunteers, unified partners, heads of delegation, so on down the line, as well as to the area director and area director support. I point that out so that if you have a key member of your delegation and you think that you're worried or concerned that they maybe don't receive this, forward it to them. If you know that their email has changed recently, you can go ahead and forward that. I did mention that your GMS person is locked out of making changes to summer games. They can still go in and edit a person's individual record, like their addresses and stuff. So if you know somebody who's changed their email recently, you may want to go in and have that updated. That said, there's a good chance, knock on wood, that we'll get the event guide out tomorrow. Was working on the final edits during the athletics head coaches meeting earlier tonight, and are kind of cruising through that. So as soon as those edits are done, we're sending it out. So if you have any updates to emails, go ahead and get somebody to do it real quick. Some medical points. At this point, it's way too far in advance, noted there under weather, to really point out about what the weather is going to be like, but just generally be prepared. Watch for primary things to look at is overexposure to sun and such, as well as dehydration. Have your folks bring their own sunscreen. Our medical folks, because of allergy issues or potential allergy issues, will not be providing sunscreen. Sometimes we have a box that people can self-select. I don't know that we have that donation this year. So bring your own sunscreen. And encourage folks to be drinking throughout the day. Even if they don't feel thirsty, they should be drinking. And we'll have a reminder of that also at the head of delegation meeting on Thursday. One thing someone suggested this today about bug repellent. With all the water and the rain that we've been getting, there probably are some areas that there may be some standing water on Towson campus, or actually on any of the campuses. So if you're going to be outside, it probably wouldn't hurt to have some bug repellent. That's your choice whether you need it or not. The inclement weather plans are in the event guide. We will review those. I won't say in great detail, but we will touch on them during the on-site head of delegation meeting. I'm not going to spend that time tonight. But be sure that your folks review those for their particular sport venues as well as anything else that's going on. Two key points, though, related to that. Only Towson University staff, Special Olympics Maryland staff, or GMT, will decide that we'll activate the inclement weather plan. Coach can't do it, family member can't do it, and don't take the word of someone unless you hear it officially. So we'll be watching that. Towson University has a great weather service that looks at stuff with I won't say pinpoint accuracy, but sometimes it feels like that. And watch his cells coming throughout, and they keep us very well informed of that. Also note that it could vary by venue. As was noted in terms of whether the inclement weather plan, as was noted during the athletics call tonight, track events, if it's not lightning or thunder, we run in the rain, unless it's a torrential downpour. So that's not necessarily the case for softball or for bocce. So it could vary. Bocce may go into a rain plan, and track continues to have its competition. So it may vary by venue. Also note in general, well, actually it's not in general, across the board, if we do have any kind of lightning or thunder, we need to wait 30 minutes from the last lightning and thunder sighting before restarting competition. I think it was the last year, or might have been the year before the last year that I ran the track, was getting all sorts of nasty looks from folks of, the sun was back out, why can't we go out and continue? We have to wait that 30 minutes. It's a safety factor, and no coercion or pleading will make us vary from that. So, coach competition webinars, as they are completed, the recordings are uploaded to YouTube, and links are placed on my SOMD. The ones for aquatics and softball, which were last week, the links are already up there. Also, the link and the copy of the slides is sent out then to all the coaches for that sport. Athletics, that link will be up there tonight, well, let's say by tomorrow. And then Natalia will send out the slides as well as the link for the recording for that, likely sometime tomorrow, Thursday morning at the latest. We have 2 more coaches webinars coming up tomorrow night, bocce and cheerleading. We have the links there for convenience, and then that's their links for registering for it. They also, once the recording is done, will be uploaded to my SOMD. And then just a reminder that the HOD meeting on June 9th, live and in person at Towson University. Again, HODs only, please. The space is a little limited. And that's it in terms of what I wanted to cover tonight. Again, we'll have more information when you get the event guide, no later than Thursday. For those of you who are on the call tonight, the content other than me fixing those typos or in some of the schedule, and we'll resend the slides out when those are corrected. The content's going to be exactly the same, on Monday night, June 6th. While you're certainly welcome to come and attend the session again, and I know that my presentation is just so invigorating and stimulating that you have to hear it one more time. But kidding aside, there's really no need for you to be there. But you're welcome if you want to. There may be questions that come up that we don't have tonight. If there are, we will certainly, probably that evening, because the slides will already be out to everybody, we'll send a note out that has any of the updates from those questions. So it's not necessary, but you're welcome to join for that. That said, I'll open it up for questions for anybody who may have some for tonight, and I'll do my best to answer them or get back to you. Hi, any questions?
Yes, Mike, this is Donna Hope from Garrett County.
Hey, Donna.
Sorry, it looks like I got on here late, but it's a good old mountain internet. Be on whenever it will.
You're not sitting in
But anyway,
this, are you?
I wonder who handled the special diet foods?
Actually, I'm glad you asked that. I forgot to mention that here. When we send the link out, there will be a reminder there that if you have any special diet, gluten-free, whatever, to send those into your regional sport director, and we'll get that to Matt Otwell.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Mike?
Yeah.
This is Peggy Dooley from Upper Shore.
Hey, Peggy. Good stuff.
Hey.
From one end of the state to the other.
Yeah. Will I be able to call in for the HOD meeting next Thursday?
In that room, we have set up a conference call option, so yes, let me check on that. I think that should not be a problem. Steve, I know you're on the call. If you can make a note of that, we can get Sue Fata to arrange that potentially for that. That's one of the advantages of being in that room. The other room that we have been using that has more space, the echo is horrible, and there's no way in the world anybody be able to hear anything. But
Yep, duly noted.
Thanks, Mike.
Sure, you're welcome. And we'll let you know. We may not know for sure until Monday, but we'll send that out to folks. I don't know if you know, Towson, starting today and going straight through Thursday of next week, they have graduations for virtually every high school in Baltimore County, which is filling their days. So it may take them, they're usually very, very responsive. We need to be a little flexible for them over the next several days. So, but we'll get that information for you. Any other questions? Okay, great. Then again, thank you for taking the time tonight. I hope this was helpful. We'll send out, again, the event guide will go out no later than Thursday. You'll get your rosters up to date. Keep in mind, when you get those rosters, it's only going to have their events. It's not going to have their division numbers or their competition times. That'll all come out next week. But at least have all their events that they're entered in and can be convenient for you to have them. So again, thank you much, and look forward to seeing you all in about a week and a half. Have a great night.